The keyboard shortcuts and tech tip, guys. Legal services in a global village. Jurisdiction changes everything.
Hi, hey, don't waste my time. Hi, I'm Dan from Canada. We have courts and oil and water, motorcycle helmets, malpractice insurance, a few other things. Some perspective. Your parents' lawyer was a lawyer, educated in the same state, in the country, lived around the corner, member of the Rotary Club, subject to ethics rules, and gave your parents a guarantee of quality legal services. It's going to be very different, though, for your kid's lawyer. They could be anywhere in the world, may not even be a lawyer, could be a computer, not subject to ethics rule, and will give very different legal services to your kids. And there are some issues there that as lawyers we should all be concerned about. So tonight I'm going to pose a series of questions that will make you think about what the future of legal services will look like, what some of the legal services providers will be, and some of the issues that the profession and the regulators will need to tackle as they deal with these issues going forward. What is a law firm? Let's go from the basics. That'll depend on your perspective: solo, small firm, medium firm, large firm. We've got representatives from all those firms in this different types of firms in this room. So it's all relative. That's fine. What goes on at a law firm? Well, we have nice reception, very nice boardrooms, partners behind big desks, associates that are working very, very hard, libraries. This is tech show. Have to mention the server room. Billable hours. All right, that kind of hidden thing in the background. And one more thing. What's the other thing that always happens at a law firm? Professional legal services. Now, that's legal advice. That's the small piece, but there's more to it than that. Competent, professional, and reliable legal advice that's tailored to the client's needs and specific circumstances. Those are very, very important because it takes that advice to a next level and makes sure it's specific to what the client really needs. My first controversial question of the night: should or can lawyers maintain a monopoly on professional services? Sorry, folks, the answer is no to both of these questions. Access to justice is a problem. People can't access legal services. The economic model of law firms is broken, and that's going to drive change. Who's going to provide legal services? Lawyers, yes, to a lesser degree. Also non-lawyers. This is already happening. Notaries or paralegals in many other jurisdictions. And online, computer kind of technology-driven advice as well. All of those things are going to happen. Can computers give competent legal advice? Yes, folks. Sorry about that. But they can probably give better advice than you can because they will ask, intelligent systems that are properly built will ask all 700 questions that have to be asked every time a particular legal type of matter is handled, and it will be handled properly. What is the practice of law? This gets to be a little bit gray. Traditional lawyer, that's easy. But what about all of these other different types of things? Intelligent systems, online things. If you look at the terms of service of these sites, they will say, this is not legal services. There are no lawyers giving advice here, and we should have a problem with that. Should legal services providers be regulated? Yes, they should be, and that goes back to client protection, consumer protection, ensuring that competent, professional, and reliable legal advice is provided to clients. Should legal service providers be part of a law firm? This is changing, not so much in America, but in the US, but elsewhere. In the UK, what's called Alternative Business Services, or ABS, MDP in some other parts of the world. This is about trying to keep it in the same tent, having lawyers involved, and that's helpful. Some are saying, though, that that doesn't open the door wide enough for innovation. Should legal service providers be subject to ethics rules? Would also suggest the answer here is yes. I think as lawyers, most of us, that's in our DNA. We take that for granted, but the non-lawyer legal service providers don't, and by their terms of service, they dodge that protection that is there. Should legal service providers be on the hook if they make a mistake? I suggest yes, they should be. This is about consumer protection and terms of services or other things that take that right away from clients who otherwise can be very significantly wronged, even if it is an only $150 firm. Should legal service providers have malpractice insurance? A little bias here because we have mandatory malpractice insurance in Canada, but would suggest that the answer to this is yes as well, because it protects the client if there is a problem. It also protects the lawyer from financial ruin if there's a significant claim there. So why then does the current regulatory model not work? Because the legal service provider that's providing advice to your kids is not in the same jurisdiction, may not be a lawyer, and is not subject to any recourse or discipline if or there is a problem with the services that they provide. So, will facing the changes that we face here be easy? No, it won't be. Lawyers are going to lose jobs, firms are going to fill, law school graduates aren't going to have jobs. But we're going to have to tackle these if we want to survive, if we want to be part of the legal services equation. What happens if we don't step up to the plate and meet those changes? We're going to face extinction. We're going to see other legal service providers that are not lawyers, not part of the profession as we know it, take over. And what ultimately that is going to mean is probably the regulators are going to step forward and regulate the providers of legal services, no longer regulate lawyers, and we're probably going to need some kind of international enforcer or regulator, kind of an Interpol for lawyers. So I'm going to close out with one final question. What do we all have to do to avoid being put in Jurassic Park? Coming to tech show's a good start, but we're going to have to do more. Thank you.